Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today I thought it'd be quite fun to do the mid-year book freakout tag. I've always seen these, I've never done one before obviously today, so I thought we'd get right into it. I have the questions up on the iPad, so let's start. Okay, so the first one is best book you've read so far in 2026. And that's such a good question. I think all these questions are going to be good. I think some of my favourites have to be from my book club. So we read Yesteryear, which everyone's been reading that one. And that was really fun and enjoyable. And then I also actually read 19 Minutes by Jodie Picoult, and that really moved me and made me angry and mad and just every single emotion under the sun, I'm pretty sure. But then like a romance I probably really enjoyed, that kind of came out of nowhere for me, was the Shifter Guardian series by Elizabeth Dear, which I'm definitely going to be referencing later on, because that was just a random Kindle Unlimited find and I devoured that whole, like those two books. Because the third one's not out yet, and like I'm still thinking about those books. And another one actually is also two horror recs, is The Lamb by Lucy Rose. I still think about that book, and my best friend actually read it recently and I was so happy seeing her reactions. And then also One Yellow Eye by Lee Radford, that was so good. I can't wait to see what other book she comes out with, because that was her debut novel and it was amazing, such a good book. Next question is best sequel you've read so far in 2026. The Saint of Steel series. I have read the first 3 books, I still got the 4th and final book to read, but like for me that whole series is great, and obviously like it's a sequel. A new release you haven't read yet but you want to read, I would probably say Fury Bound by Sable Sorensen. I did start reading, I read the first chapter but I had no memory of what happened in Diebound. So I was like, okay, I need to reread Diebound and then read this book. And also want to read Holly Jackson's new book. I was actually thinking of reading it the other day. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I think everyone's probably going to be saying like the new A Court of Thorns and Roses books, which I'm looking forward to, don't get me wrong. I think for me, I'm probably going to go with the next Shifter Guardian Elizabeth Dear book. It hasn't got an exact release date, which is unfortunate. So it could be coming out this next year, or it could come out next year. I'm hoping it comes out soon though, because I want to read it so bad. Like, oh, it's such a good book. Biggest disappointment. Okay, I actually have the perfect book for this. I started reading Hayley Pham's book. Is it Just Friends? I didn't have the biggest hopes, because I feel like sometimes like YouTubers who turn authors, their work may not be great. And so I went in with it like thinking, okay, as long as it's fun, that's all that matters. And just it wasn't good. I didn't have a good time reading that book, and I DNF'd it fairly quickly. It was just, yeah, no, it was not a good book, and I was quite disappointed by that one, because I was hoping it would be a lot better. But still, biggest surprise of books I've read this year, I would probably say Mad Honey by Jodie Picoult. That was my first ever Jodie Picoult book, and I read it for book club, and I wasn't really expecting much because I've never read one of her books, and it blew me away. I really enjoyed it, so much that I then went and read 19 Minutes by myself, and I definitely like her books. I don't know if I would go out and read every single one of her books, but just the ones that like interest me, definitely. Favorite new author, a debut or new to you? I'm gonna go with both options. So my favourite debut author has to be Lee Radford. Her book One Yellow Eye really blew me away and I was obsessed. And I even messaged her on Instagram being like, your book was so good, like, I really cannot wait to see what you come out with next. And I can't wait. Like the minute she announces she's got a book coming out, I'm gonna pre-order it immediately because it was so good. And a new to me author, yet again, is gonna be Elizabeth Dear. Okay, I think I need to read more of her books. But the Shifter Guardians, it had the perfect amount of like romance and fantasy and just comedy, and it was like all rolled into one. I had a good time and I just want to read more. Newest favourite character. The character that keeps coming to my mind is Margot from the Lamb by Lucy Rose. She is definitely still haunting my brain and I just want to protect her. So definitely my favourite character. Because I feel like all the other characters I read are either very questionable or they're just not as memorable as Margot was. So a book that made me cry. Oh, there's been a lot. The Lamb made me cry. Or Atmosphere by Ted Jenkins really made me bawl my eyes out, actually. That was so good. Oh, and also The Women by Kristen Hannah. I read that, and then my sister read it because I was raving about it. Like, I gave her my copy to read, and that made me cry a lot. I don't actually fully cry at books until quite recently, and so I feel like a lot of the books that probably would make me cry I've already read. So a book that made me happy. I don't know, books that made me happy just almost make me like feel like happy and joy as I read. And I can't think of one off the top of my head, which is actually quite tragic. I think I'm gonna go with a couple answers. I can't even visualize my shelves, they're like all packed up right now for the move. I think I'm gonna go with the Saints of Steel series because of the characters themselves I really love. So they make me happy. I'm gonna go with the One Piece volumes I've been reading because they're really good. And then I'm also gonna go with Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I only read that like this past week, and that honestly surprised me. I actually unhauled a lot of my Tessa Bailey books like either last year or the year before because they felt all very repetitive for me. I think because I was reading them quite quickly together, and then so I think having such a long gap between then and now, and then reading that one, I had a good time reading it. I mean the romance at times the main guy was very annoying and very childish, and also his age confused me. I think at some point he mentioned that he's only like 2 years older than the main girl, and I was like, I thought you were like 10 years older than her. Because he's always like described as like this like older gruff man, so I was picturing someone in their mid to late 30s, and he ended up being 27. I was like, okay, I'm complaining. Next question is favorite book to film or TV show adaptation, and I'm definitely going with, first of all, Project Hail Mary. That was incredible. Me and Ben went to go see that in cinemas, and we had the best time, and it made me cry. And then also we both thoroughly enjoyed watching Off Campus. That I wasn't expecting much from that show, but like I'd read the books just before I started dating Ben actually, and so when I saw the show was coming out, I was like, do you want to give it a go with me? Like, let's like watch one episode, see how you feel, because I'll probably watch the whole thing. And he was more obsessed than me. He's not going to read the books, but he loved the show. His reactions to the whole show made me so happy because like, I knew the plot was coming because I read the books obviously, and he didn't, and his reactions were priceless. Like that's gonna be such like a fun memory to have in the future. It says favorite review. I don't really tend to review books properly, so I'm gonna avoid that question. I don't really review books. Probably if I had to, my review for The Science of the Girls by Pat Barker, because I absolutely hated that book. I stopped reading it halfway through, and I was like, I need to get my annoyance out onto my story graph, and I was just really hating on the book. But as I always say, like, no hate to the author. No hate to the author, because maybe that was just her worst book, you know? Maybe other books are better, but I'm not going to read her other books because of that book. So I don't know. Books you need to read by the end of the year. Again, I don't need to read any books by the end of the year. I just want to read books by the end of the year. But I want to read the next book on my list for the Way of Kings series by Brandon Sanderson. I'm on the fourth one, which I want to say is River of War. I always get the titles mixed up. But I want to read that one. I'm going to say it so Ben doesn't tell me off. I'm going to be reading more One Piece. I told him I want to read at least a volume a week, and he's getting upset because I said that last Friday and I've not read one yet this week. But as I said, the week's not over because it's currently Friday as I'm filming this. I actually would really like to read and finish the Darker Shade of Magic series by V. Schwab. I read Darker Shade of Magic, I want to say March, maybe April, and it really stressed me out. So every time I go to pick up the next book, it's A Gathering of Shadows, I get so anxious I have to keep putting it down. And I know that's a massive me issue because of how stressed that book was making me feel. But I do want to finish that. I want to like finish that whole trilogy so that it's like nicely done and read like all in the same year. And additionally, I guess I also want to read the next Saint of Steel book. So Paladin's Faith by T. Kingfisher, because that's such a good series. Also, like, once I read it, the whole series is over, which is very sad. No, yeah, I think I don't really have many books I need to read. They're just the books I've been wanting to read. But anyway, I mean, as always, as I say, I am trying to read my physical TBR a lot this year. So I'm actually currently like taking part in the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. Not to actually like finish the reading challenge, purely just to like get myself motivated to finish my TBR. I mean, that being said, I did add books I technically didn't have, like I don't own technically yet. But I'm just like, okay, if I read the ones that I do have first, it kind of balances out. Because obviously all the books I have on my shelves don't always correlate with the prompts, which is the only annoying thing. That is really fun. And I guess if you actually want me to discuss my books that I've chosen for the prompts, like let me know, because again, it's I think the beauty of like a reading challenge like this is that it has a lot of leeway for you. I mean, some of them don't, but a lot of them do. And in fact, you can like double up on prompts. I'm trying not to, just to get through as many books I have. Apart from like a few that I'm like, oh yeah, might as well double up because it makes it easier. Because it makes it a bit easier, but at the same time, I don't actually want to all the time. But yeah, and that's it really. It was very short, but I just wanted to do it and just, you know, see what's going on with my reading for this year. I've already just said how many books I've read this year. I think I've read like 81 books. My reading goal was initially set for 100, and then I upped it to 150 the other day because, again, as I said before, I'm out of work right now, so I know that I could easily read books really quickly now. I haven't got, like, my time isn't focused on other things. But no, I don't know if I'm actually gonna hit 150. I think that really depends on how the move goes and how it affects me and my mental health. I'm feeling quite positive with that all. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.